What's going on, guys? Welcome to the space. Space sponsored by BetSwirl. And the topic today will be Web3 gaming. I know we're going to have a great space, great discussion about Web3 gaming and stuff of that nature. So I guess we'll just introduce the next person. We got Rect League. You guys go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for having us on. This is Justin Kruger behind the Rec League gaming account. I'm the marketing director over here at Enway Games, the developer behind Rec League, which is a part of Animoca Brands. For anybody that doesn't know about Rec League is a free-to-play 1v1 fighting game where you can build your own fighter out of NFT parts and your.
I don't know if it's just me, but I can't hear Rec League.
Oh, can you guys hear me?
Drop and come, and we'll bring you back up. Sorry about that.
Oh, thumbs up if you can hear me. Thumbs down if you can't. Okay. So unfortunately, it's just those who can't hear me. Oh, that's too bad. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Just real quick.
Next,
then
we have Layer 1. If you guys want to go ahead and introduce yourself. I know we had a good space last month. So if you guys want to go ahead and...
Bro, I could totally hear you. Can you guys hear me okay? I just want to make sure I'm being heard as well. All right.
Yeah.
Now we can
Layer 1. Unfortunately, I don't think the host can hear me. So if you don't mind, let me just real quick. Do you want to relay that to the host?
Yeah. So we'll let Rec League just keep going for a minute since everybody could hear him. So I'll follow up after Rec League.
Oh, man, spaces are so tricky sometimes. Anyway, 1v1 fighting game, recleague.xyz. You can download the game there. That's really it. Why don't you take it away, Layer 1?
It kind of steals your thunder, doesn't it? Kind of loses the momentum a little bit. Sorry to hear that. So I'm Cody. I'm the Chief Experience Officer at Layer 1. We are a Layer 1 blockchain that is fully decentralized and looking to transform the Web3 experience. And we're helping games by developing out new innovative technology that will allow them to basically go cross-chain through a technology we like to call XTalk. It's different from interoperability. We're coining it a little bit different than operability because not only can you move assets, but you can also move data and logic as well, which is awesome for games, especially because you can pull data in, you can pull NFTs in from all different chains, play them all in one experience that's seamless and without losing speed or quality. So that's us.
It's always good to hear. Who's next? We got Game of Silks. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the space.
What's up, guys? Happy to see some familiar faces in PFPs. This is Gavin behind the Game of Silks account. Game of Silks is digitalizing the sport of thoroughbred racing, offering players a unique opportunity to purchase digital representatives of horses on the blockchain. And just to sum it up, we want to give players the feeling of truly immersing themselves in an athlete's career, not like your traditional, sports app where, you set it and forget it and you watch it for the day. We want our players to truly, build stables and get immersed in the sport we all love.
Sounds good. Nice to hear. I see we have Scott. Go ahead, Scott.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Happy Tuesday. My name is Scott Herman. I'm one of the co-founders at WAGMI Games. We are a mobile strategy tower defense game. We're actually in beta right now. We are going to be heading into our global launch this summer. But we're more than just a game. We have comics, we have original lore, we actually have an anime that we just finished creating this week. We haven't posted it yet, but you're going to start seeing little drips of that coming out here soon. Happy to be here chatting with all of you.
Yeah, most definitely, man. It's going to be a great space. I'm glad to have you, Scott. We got OBS World. Good to have you guys in the space. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
GM, guys. Super happy to be on today's space. We are the metaverse for petrolheads. My name is Jonathan, and I'm head of community for OBS World. I'm super excited. Today we actually launched our airdrop, but I'm not here to shill that. I'm just here to have an amazing time, amazing conversation with BetSwirl. And perhaps after this space, we'll come to the conclusion that we'll have to do a partnership. So let's get going. And yeah, guys, get sharing. Go follow the speakers. GM. Today is the day.
100%, man. I love the energy. Great to have you in the space. I see we have mindless.btc.
Hello.
Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Good morning, good evening. Great to see some of my friends up here and a couple of new faces. I do hope to get to know you all soon. I manage the BD side of things here at Style Protocol. We're not a game or a sexy ecosystem by any means, but we are looking to solve one of the biggest problems that we believe anyway in the Web3 gaming space, and that's interoperability. We call it true interoperability. So we're intending to be that base infrastructural protocol layer for NFTs and gaming. So you could take a NFT, plug it into any game in any ecosystem on any engine in any graphical intensity and just play it. That's the problem we think exists, and we try to solve that.
Great, man. Awesome. I see we have Benjamin in the space. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Benjamin.
Guys, looking forward to speak here. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Granted and Overlabs. Granted essentially help Web3 projects get grants with partner chains like Avalanche, Polygon, Immutable, etc. And then Overlabs, I can't talk too much about that, but we're building a layer 3, and I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Yeah, I think we're having a conflict where certain speakers might not be able to hear each other. So, I mean, we can always, rotate. You can drop down and we'll bring you right back up and we'll be good. Everyone will be able to hear each other and no issues. But so I see we have Ruby in here in the space. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Ruby.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me. It's good being back here in the space. I'm Ruby. I'm the co-founder and lead engineer of XP.NETWORK. We're an NFT multi-chain bridge. Currently connected to around 30 blockchains, over 5 non-EVMs. Our bridge also is integrated with over 30 wallets, around 10 different NFT standards, and we currently have around 5 live mainnet products operational. Thank you for having me, guys.
But to start the discussion off with Web3 gaming, I guess I'll just start off with saying, what do you guys feel like the future of Web3 gaming holds? Like, what do we have to look forward to this year?
I'll kick it off. You guys get to look forward to the global release of WAGMI Games, baby. Let's boost that energy. Everybody sounds like they want to kill themselves. This is gaming. This is where the energy is. This is where everybody needs to be. It's our happy place, right? We don't have to deal with our wives. We don't have to deal with our kids. All we have to deal with is, the kids that we're telling they suck when we're battling them on live chat. That's the only kids really we have to deal with. Oh man, let's liven things up, guys. So, what I truly think we have to look forward to this year in Web3 gaming is, we had a pretty horrible bear market. The last 2 years have just been absolutely terrible. But, how do you make a diamond? With pressure. And so the pressure of the bear market for the last couple of years really squeezed out a lot of games that just weren't going to make it. Unfortunately, probably some good projects that didn't survive as well. But also a lot of scams just, didn't make it either. And that's a good thing. We want to make sure heading into this bull market and in the name of mass adoption that we're really getting behind and supporting games that truly have a vision that encompasses what gamers are all about, playing fun games. And you're going to see a wide variety of Web3 games. You're going to see some games that are like, over the top invested in all of those Web3 elements, right? Like where NFTs and tokens and land and all of that is right at the forefront of everything, especially with their economy. And then you're going to see some other games that are more like a Web 2.5, which is what I would classify our first mobile title, WAGMI Defense, where the main focus, of course, is fun gameplay and collectability, but the NFTs and the token are kind of integrated into the game in a way to where the average gamer doesn't even know they're playing a Web3 game, right? They're just playing a game that's fun. They're collecting characters. And then, oh, by the way, hey, you own those characters. And then, oh, by the way, the token that you're using in game to purchase things or enter tournaments or do skill-based wagering, that's actually on blockchain, right? Gamers are already used to buying V-Bucks. They're already used to buying COD points. They're already used to buying gold inside games. So it's not like we're introducing anything new with these concepts of ownership and token, but I think it's going to take a combination of these games that have a lighter touch to try to bring more of the masses in and then get them to want to try games that dive a bit more into Web3 gaming. So I think we're going to start to see just a lot of these economies start to boom. I mean, I play big time quite a bit as well. And I've seen that economy change drastically over the course of even the last few months, as they've just been kind of tweaking things and figuring things out, adjusting prices, adjusting material costs and things like that. So it can work. There's quite a lot of people having a lot of fun playing big time and making quite a bit of money with their in-game economy and their rental system. So we're right at that exciting point to where all of this is getting figured out, right? And a little background on me, for those of you who don't know. So I come from the creator side as well. I have a YouTube channel with 3 million subscribers. I was the first person to create fitness content back in 2009 when everyone said I was, YouTube was stupid. It would never turn into anything. Gyms wouldn't even let me film. I had to move out of New York City because no gym in New York would let me film videos, even though they were educational. And I basically saw that same thing happening here in Web3 gaming. People who understood it and knew what it meant were excited. The rest of the world thought it was dumb and it was never going to work. But we've seen a huge shift in that mentality, even in the last year, where a lot more people are now asking questions, obviously with Bitcoin and Ethereum raising, right? The signs of a bull market coming, that always gets people excited. But with games in general, a lot of people are starting to understand what asset ownership means and what a functioning in-game economy can do for a game and for a community. So, yeah, that's what I see happening for 2024, guys.
I hear you on that, man. I see we have Game of Silks with their hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll try not to piggyback you too much here, Scott. But first of all, how can we be sad? I got a Wag Me Games Series 1 comic book right next to me. So, but yeah, no, I think we're in the space right now where we're going to start seeing a lot of, the crops start coming out, a lot of, the cream rising to the crop, especially after the past, year and a half we had. But I think truly in Web3 gaming, it starts with having fun games, right? If I enjoy playing something, I'm going to sit there and play it. What we saw a lot, I think, in the beginning of Web3 games coming out was a lot of like the grinding aspect. Like me as a gamer, I have a lot of friends that love sitting down and grinding out a game that's not fun, but me, I need something to immerse myself in. And we're truly starting to see a lot of these great games come out, especially a lot of great ideas. Like, a lot of the stuff I get is from a lot of these, people on this panel today bring up new ideas to me every day. But Scott, I do have a question. You were bringing up the web 2.5 and bringing up like tokens attaching and, a user not really being able to see that they're interacting with stuff. Are you for a lot of these new games that are kind of considered Web 2.5 to have their own token associated, or using tokens that are already out there, or like an in-game token and converting it? What are you seeing?
So, I mean, I think it's okay to have your own token. We have our own token at WagMe Games. It's called the WagMe Games token, but it's a 100% utility token being used in the game, right? I think it's really important to pay attention to what the token is being used for. A lot of these games that aren't going to make it, no pun intended, they would have things attached to their token like governance. It's like, oh, if you own this token, you can vote on stuff. It's like, who gives a shit, right? Who cares? Whether or not those votes even mean anything, right? I mean, it's a cool feature to have. We have governance, but governance for our token utility is more along the lines of like, hey, we're going to introduce some new characters. Which one do you want to see first? Or here's some new skins, or, which one do you want to see? Like, it's like fun in-game things that you should be voting on. You shouldn't be voting on like the core structure of the business or anything like that. And our token is integrated fully into the game. Like I said, you can use the WAGMI Games token to purchase everything in game. We just aligned ourselves with Base, and we're integrating Coinbase Pay. So you can even use credit card if you want to. But if you want to do the in-game skill-based wagering, you have to use the WAGMI Games token. If you want to buy the Battle Pass, you have to use the WAGMI Games token. If you want to do exclusive tournaments, you have to use the WAGMI Games token. But getting the token the way that we're setting it up in game is, you can just buy it in game with your credit card, and it'll just auto convert in the back end. Don't ask me how. That's my CTO. He handles all of that. So it's not like we're asking you to go to an exchange, buy WAGMI Games token, and then come back and start playing. We're like, no, you can just do it in game. As long as you can do these things in game, then it works. When you're having to start sending people outside of the game to do all this stuff, that's when it becomes more Web3, I think, agnostic, right? Where you have to have all this information readily available to buy, sell, and trade, things like that. But yeah, I mean, it's okay to have the token. The only big issue I see, though, too, is like vesting and things like that. You have to have real good tokenomics. You don't want to have like incoming dumps of token all the time that's going to disrupt your economy. So because we built through the bear, we actually were not VC funded. So we've bootstrapped this company ourselves for the last 2.5 years. And it's been kind of a blessing in disguise because 89% of our tokens in circulation. There's no vested VC dumps. There's none of that coming. It's like what you see is what you get. So yeah, it's going to change from game to game of Silks, right? But I think as long as you keep, how is this token enhancing gameplay? Like, I don't play Call of Duty to earn fucking COD points, right? Like, who gives a shit? I play Call of Duty to get bomb-ass headshots from 800 meters away on top of the skyscraper in Warzone. That's why I play Call of Duty. And if I happen to get some COD points and I can buy some shit later, awesome. And that's why it works, because the focus is on gameplay. So as long as your focus is always on gameplay and the token and the NFTs are just a part of the economy and function as such, that's the way to do it, because that's the easiest way to look familiar to traditional gamers.
Yeah, no, that's great insight, because like the one thing I see is we're not like 2 years ago, we're not going to see players bridge and swap tokens anymore to play a game. And especially to that lighter touch feel on onboarding, a guy that's new to even crypto to come in, have fun, interact, and then also start learning a little bit more of what he's interacting with. That's fun all around. So that was great insight. Thank you, Scott.
So just over here make some messages. I see we got Mindless BTC. What's up, Mindless?
Hey, thanks. I'll have a jab at trying to answer this. First of all, Scott, dude, love the energy. I wish I could take a dose of that on some mornings. I'm going to give the very typical politician's side shuffle here and sort of evade answering the question directly by simply saying that my only observation over the last several years in this space has been that given any 6-month time frame, the entire Web3 gaming industry changes so incredibly, so vastly that we're often just left gobfounded wondering, hey, what happened to that narrative we all used to talk about 6 months ago? And this has been the case for years now, right? It moved from sort of generative NFTs to DeFi-based gaming to, play to earn, to metaverses are rubbish, to play to earn doesn't work, to all kinds of iterations, to now play to airdrop, and now we're even questioning that. So my takeaway really is to try and answer that question, where is this industry headed? I don't think anybody knows just yet. And to Scott's point, it's very early, so incredibly early. So early, in fact, that it's almost exciting because nobody knows where this is going. So if I was to answer that, I would just say that where is this industry headed? I don't think anybody knows. All I do know is a couple of consistencies. It's very disruptive. There's an awful lot of change and volatility. With that is opportunity for gamers, for builders, for first movers, for designers, for studios, for all of this types of stuff. Very much the same way when the internet first came onto the scene, nobody would have really predicted the incredible rise of sort of gamified online communities, the rise of MMORPGs, the fall of MMORPGs, the rise of competitive gaming, the rise of gaming guilds, and then the change of all of that onto mobile gaming. all of that types of stuff, it was very, very difficult to predict. I think we're sitting at a very similar precipice with the Web3 side of things. It's like the internet has just stumbled into gaming. We're trying to figure out where this is going to go. It's very difficult, but exciting.
Even on the simulator level, like there's so many more simulators that are coming out and emulators that are allowing people to play these different nostalgic games, but still kind of have that layer where we can bridge it over, or should I say, pivot in a way where we can, connect with the essence, of why we like gaming in the first place. Like, so I mean, that's the whole point. Like, I saw someone down here in the comment section where I was actually saying, it was Kratos. He actually said, cross-chain gaming with a universal login profile is the key. Interoperability, like, that's the whole point. Like we're all trying to solve this pain point in the space. I know Layer 1's going to bring it all home. It's good, Layer 1.
Thanks. Yeah, I agree. It is about interoperability, being able to take those profiles across chain, but also, be able to create a seamless experience. And going back on something that Scott said, about tokens, I feel like a lot of games, they're like, oh, I'm going to be in the Web3 space, so therefore I've got to create a crypto token to go with it. And a lot of times it feels like it's a bolt-on kind of experience. He even mentioned about going outside of the game to interact with a wallet is another kind of bolt-on experience, right? And so I feel like you guys are definitely hitting it on the head for us when it comes to people just want to play a game. They don't really care about this or that, but they should be able to if they want to, right? And if you look at the ethos of what Web3 is all about, it's about creating customization so that you can interact with the internet the way you want to interact with it. And games need to be kind of in a similar boat where they can adapt and be able to customize a little bit to facilitate to the growth and scalability of these users that are coming on and playing the games. One thing that we're kind of doing over at Layer 1 is, that whole wallet concept of going outside of the wallet. That was one of my very first projects that I started working on, was creating a wallet that had an engineering layer to it. So you could come in and literally build on top of the wallet without having to create a dApp, having users go in and create a, click on a link that goes to a dApp, which, as we know, can kind of create some phishing opportunities and things like that. But keeping everything inside the wallet makes it a little bit more secure, makes it a little bit more seamless experience. And, that's ultimately what they're looking for. And so then that way, if they do onboard from a Web 2 game, mobile game, to a Web 3 game, they can still have that similar experience. But then, like I said, if they want to dive in a little bit deeper and earn those coins so that they can get swag or, additional NFT kind of gear or whatever it is that they're hawking, it really opens the door for games to start focusing on maybe not tokens, but more of like user generated content or that they can play inside the game, or even having them mint more NFTs, utility kind of tokens that they can use inside the game. And I think that that's a shift that we might see in the near future.
Yeah, most definitely. And I wanted to go next to Rec League, and then OBS and then Rec League. Sorry about that.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. No, I was just listening into the conversation, and I must say that it was extremely interesting to listen to everybody's point of view, especially when Mindless started talking about the different kinds of, economies and how players, could be interested in those, or how certain models have, already or might become obsolete in the quite near future. And then when Layer 1 basically, started talking about interoperability and, how they are providing a huge solution. And by the way, shout out to Layer 1. They're an amazing Layer 1. So definitely go check them out. But When they started talking about that, it really got me thinking, and that is something that ultimately at OBS World, I like to call it, we use a system called skill to earn. And to tell you a little bit more about that, I have to explain you a couple of things about OBS World. Since we started quite a long time ago, we actually came out of a real world car club of a couple of enthusiasts who started collecting these vehicles. And somehow we ended up in Web3. But the reality is that we have in-house 15 specialists working now on our project for the last 2 years. And if any of you guys is familiar, for example, with sim racing, simulator racing is basically, either having a console or a PC, you have a steering wheel, some pedals, and you really try to mimic real world racing conditions. Some of you might have seen the recent movie, actually, Gran Turismo, which is actually based on a real story about Nissan GT Academy. And I like to sometimes actually even compare OBS World to that movie, if not even more. Why so? Because we have done actually pretty much the same over the last couple of 4 years. We've been organizing international championships of these races. And for example, last year, we have also, put the winners at the end of the season. We took them with us to Germany, and we actually put them into our own Porsches and let them drive on the track. So to prove that actually, these virtual skills can actually be translated into the, real world. And that was always kind of the ideology behind OBS World, to make your hobbies be able to pay the bills. So if just putting your kid into karting is easily going to cost you around 100,000, euros a year. So that's insane kind of money, not everybody has that kind of money laying around. So with virtual reality, now with even the Apple Vision headset that came out, and so much more on its way, there's really so much on the move. And this is kind of, what we are building. We are building this virtual metaverse where people who have a passion for cars can come and actually interact and socialize and experience in different ways, and do that from all over the world. So imagine if I want to buy a Ferrari, I just connect with, the top person that I can find, and he, I'll just pay him for his time through crypto, and he'll be satisfied because he actually, made use of his knowledge. Similarly, that can be for photographers who are, trying to build a portfolio. And we can even go, further as into, betting or, competing in these races, and connecting that back to real world assets even. Because an NFT could, easily be an entry ticket to a Formula One event. So those are like a few little droplets that I want to give you guys. But on the betting side, skilled prize competitions are something that's been a thing for many, many years, and I'm sure that BetSwirl can elaborate more on that topic. But imagine just using a couple of tokens to, join a competition, and who knows, you might win your real world dream car. Now, that's all some crazy stuff. I don't want to dive too deep into the rabbit hole, but guys, the future is now, and I just want everybody in the space to realize that, like, build, and connect, and don't be afraid to experiment, because this is what we're supposed to be doing right now. Not stalling, but actually just going insane mode, ham, straightforward. And I want just for everybody to feel that energy, because we have so many people listening in here today. Guys, drop a comment. Where are you guys from? Who are you supporting in today? Follow these accounts, because this space doesn't happen that often. So push it, guys. One love.
Hey, OBS World, I support the shit out of you. That's great. That's awesome. I love what you're doing. And also, I'm looking at my email right now, and I don't see an invite to drive one of your Porsches. Where is it, and why is that the case? Because I am down. I am so down to fly out to Germany and drive one of your Porsches. Like, tomorrow. If you sent the invite, and I'm there.
I'm down for that too. I want
Forward
one.
me in that email. Forward me in that.
Guys, if I can say one more thing, you won't believe me, but we are holding the very first hybrid car event in the whole world in 2 weeks.
Hell yeah.
Which is, the location hasn't been disclosed yet, but the metaverse whole environment has been built on the actual building plans of that place, and it's an extremely VIP event. However, if you use our app, you'll get access to talk to some crazy people. But love you guys, really, honestly. The energy is amazing.
That's great, man. I love hearing about that, and I love what you're building. And just sort of throwing out our own 2 cents here. It's very much in line with what we're building here at Rec League 2. We're building a buy-in tournament where players can kind of buy in with a little bit of tokens and compete in a tournament and with a payout of tokens, right? It all goes into a pool. And I think, that's sort of a trend that I'm seeing with you guys. I'm seeing with a couple other projects. I think Game of Silks may have something similar as well. But, this kind of like idea of using currency to get more currency through your gameplay has always been kind of like a pipe dream, or like the sort of end goal for any kind of gamers. You see it in Twitch content and content creation, and just sort of going back to the conversation beforehand too, where it's like, it's hard to get people into a game and have them playing and getting them excited about a game. I've been in the gaming space for 15 years. I've worked on some of the largest games and some of the largest franchises in the world. And sometimes you put out a game and it's a flop, and you have all the things going right for you. It's like name brand, prestige, distribution funnels, resources. You've been working on this game for 5-6 years, and it launches, and sometimes it just doesn't hit the market. And to somebody else's point, I forgot who said it, but the market for gaming changes so quickly. And in Web3 gaming, it changes even faster. We're talking week by week trend shifts. And so if you're not sort of sticking to your guns and sticking to what you believe in as a game developer and a game designer, it's hard to really sort of see the product forward. It's always good to sort of innovate and follow the trends and keep a close eye on it and adapt as possible. But I think, from my perspective, at least, keeping that long-term perspective of that Web3 gaming is going to be, it's definitely here to stay. People find value in gaming, in playing games, and then getting some kind of reward out of that translates into real world value, right? That is like a profound loop, core feedback loop that I've found to be incredible. It's unreal, right? To earn something in game, sell it, and make a profit. Like it's such a cool experience. And I think the thought around tokens and the thought around NFTs needs to shift away from like, oh, this will give me generational wealth. And it needs to shift into the fact that like, oh, this might, I might be able to buy lunch off of playing this game. It needs to be like, oh, I'll buy into this project, into this NFT for $10. I may even only get $8 back, but being able to sell those assets freely and outside of a walled garden is absolutely something that, I think we strongly believe in.
Yeah, that's like such a great point, because especially like what we've seen the past couple years from like, videos on YouTube of gambling, or, just even look at these tokens right now. Like it is so hard, first of all, to 3x, and then now, a lot of viewers of all these channels will see people like 10x, 20x, even 100x. And it's like, oh, this is what this market is. And it's really like, no, that's once of a lifetime type things we're seeing, like for someone to go play blackjack at a casino to, double your money, to do that 10 times over, you're at a disadvantage. That's how the casino wins. But, even going, if you ask a lot of people like, hey, people are going to have full-time jobs streaming games. A couple years ago, people would freak out. And now let's see that market, and now to give your just everyday, traditional gamer a chance to play a game and then get rewarded, or even have a little voice of how the development of the game is going to go. Like that is, to me, that's the future of the space we're in. And just, empowering the gamers that spend their money, to these companies is just going to be a great thing to just see. And we're already seeing it today.
Hey, I'm going to jump in here. I definitely want to point out like a couple things. We're seeing like the depth of what gaming actually means. There's simulation, there's RTS, there's FPS, there's really basic games boiled down that are getting Web3 integration as well. Like, this isn't a zero-sum game when you look at the actual, landscape of what gaming and Web3 equal. And you guys are super impressive. Like, one thing I really want to point out, as far as talking about like the bear market, the upcycle and whatnot, we created the bear market because of how the space responded in the upcycle. The same thing is occurring right now with this whole, 500x, meme coin like drama that's going off right now. It's not shaping up to a very long-term sustainable ecosystem at this point still, which is sad. It's a very influencer controlled sort of framework that we're dealing with again. But what I'm seeing here, as far as gaming is concerned, creativity is the best utility you can have. What you have to do is pay attention to the technology, as we know, is moving rapidly every moment around us, but that actually is converging on so many different sectors of technology that it's allowing creators to actually put forth a product. Like, we can deploy things that we may not have been capable to last year. We may not have been capable to 3 years ago. And so, from my viewpoint, we're sort of at like the Pong, like Space Invaders level of where things are going to go. And the only way that like we're going to get there, with how we all want to be there, is by focusing on the art of what we're doing. Like the actual enjoyment factor matters more than people realize. And my last point, that I wanted to bring up that we're talking about here, as far as the economics, like the financial system that's related to Web3 gaming, that is a game in and of itself. And so there is, game theory related to accumulating wealth. That like adds a really interesting dynamic to how this all works, where yes, we want our game to be awesome. We want people to use our utility coin, but at the same time, we have to know that this convergence is the ability to make money with gaming. That is where we are with competitive gaming, with Twitch streaming. Like, by respecting that factor and implementing it into our business models, that to me is the only way that our particular projects are going to survive.
Yeah, man. I think collaboration over competition is definitely important. Yeah, it's honestly been a really good space so far. I had a burning question that I wanted to throw in the air. Let me find it real quick.
While you're looking at that, I just want to kind of piggyback off of GM Cox's thing about tokens having a gamification behind it. Totally agree with you, man. Like, everybody that comes into the DeFi world that says, no, I'm not into games or anything like that, they are definitely playing a game. I mean, 99% of most of the meme coins out there play the prisoner dilemma game, right? And they are the ones that, if you don't know what that is, Google it. You'll find out that a lot of these ecosystems, especially in DeFi, introduce a lot of game mechanics that make them either make them or break them, right? And you can tell if a good ecosystem has a good game mechanic into it because they have methodically thought it out, and those are the ones that definitely live through the bear markets. And the bad ones, like you said, go away. And so, yeah, I definitely agree with you on that.
Yeah, and it sucks because the bad ones cost the space. And I'm not talking about a project with high hopes, I'm talking about like the rugs are the main culprit of the nasty bear markets. Like I stand by that 100%. Like as far as the games themselves, I noticed a lot in the bear and even, right at the end of the last upcycle, game developers have to be very careful with their ambitions of the game itself and how they go about announcing things like their gameplay features. Like it's much harder to deliver than it is to announce. And so that part is something that places have to, respect and pay attention to. Like the ability to actually, produce what you are planning on and your process of reporting this to the public is also a game component of how this works. And I noticed that it cost a lot of places that are doing something so ambitious that they're not even recognizing the fact that like Ubisoft has like 500 devs working on something that's similar to what they're describing. And so it's not as simple as, hey, we're going to make this game. It's something that, you have to be very aware of what you can control and what the ecosystem will allow you to actually do.
Markets go in trends. And like the one thing I like to like not compare, but always bring up is you remember that one time where you couldn't open your phone without seeing a Rolex influencer on TikTok or YouTube. Like if you truly look at that market, those guys crushed themselves. They made all these videos. They did really well, and they marked up Rolex crazy. And you look at the market now, it's nowhere near, and they're sitting holding their own bags, a lot of these guys. But to even just look into, where we're at, it's exactly kind of what you're going over, and it's the second piece is explaining these projects. I think a huge piece is a lot of people are doing great things, and I'm no dev and no means, but I'll hear something and it's decentral this, bringing it to new levels and it goes over 30,000 things, and I don't understand it at all. And I can only see people when they're newly introduced to see these companies, and they're just scattered off, and just to give flowers like Layer One, the way he explains his company is very easy to grasp. I remember the first space I heard him, it was one of the first things I grabbed onto really quick. And it's truly explaining your project. And I don't want to use the term dumbing it down, but easy for your everyday guy to grasp on. And I think that's a huge piece this space needs to go into.
No, man, I agree with you on that one. You could thank social media for having to dumb things down because people's attention spans aren't there long enough to listen to the full understanding of things. But it's not really just dumbing it down. It's really just kind of gearing it towards like, everybody has wants and needs, and it's being able to distinguish your audience, your target audience, of what those needs are and what they're looking for. I mean, I play my toilet bowl games. I call them toilet bowl games because they're the things that I can easily play within a few minutes and be able to complete a round or finish a level and be done with it, right? And then there's the big in-depth games. Huge Xbox guy back in the day, right? Loved them. A huge Halo guy. I mean, but even for me, I love a good story. And I'm of the believer that if people take that same passion that they have for storytelling in their video games and even in their projects that they do, and be able to be passionate about what they do, if you build it, they will come. That old Field of Dreams quote is a staple for time, and it's definitely something that'll do it. Because I mean, for me, coming from a SaaS world in the real world to crypto, I mean, there have been numerous projects that I've launched for free on my own dime without raising any VC funding or doing anything like that, and just to see if it'll even go in if it'll even be adopted, right? Before I spend a lot of time. And then if I can see that it's going to work, then I go in and I start raising and obviously have ways for revenue models, but I focus on the experience. I focus on the story, and I try to find like-minded people to see if there's enough adoption out there. And I think that if games and projects had the similar mindset, the GM Cox statement before, the bad actors, we'll be raising the bar every cycle that we go through, because it battle tests these projects to see what works and what doesn't. And I agree, the market changes 100% all the time. Technology is always changing. And, but one thing always stands still. You can always find like-minded people that will adopt and enjoy your game or your project, and that will never change.
I think that's very true, and I kind of wanted to follow up on that because I also think it's the marketing that needs help in crypto too.
You made a comment about we shape the internet. And
I'm sorry. I don't think GMC. I don't think GM Cox could hear Randy.
Oh, should I go down and come back up?
Oh, my bad, Randy. No, I'll get off of here.
Yeah, just jump down GM Cox, and I'll bring you right back up.
Can everyone else hear me? Am I good?
Okay,
all right. I'm getting thumbs up. Scott, hi, Scott.
Hi, Randy.
Nice to see you, man.
Nice to see you too.
Yeah, it's been a minute, but yeah, I was gonna say, I think the marketing is important in Web3, where you guys were talking about the attention span, and I think not a lot of people are taking advantage of short content, and that's why I love doing 60 seconds or less videos, and I have a playlist on my YouTube channel, 1 to 2 minute intro to crypto videos, and I do Web3 gaming content as well, because I think that's what people need. People need to scroll on TikTok and see someone and be like, hey, there's this new breakout game in Web3. This is what it is. This is what the game looks like. And this is how you sign up. I think this is a lot of what's missing in Web3, a lot of tutorial stuff, how to connect your wallet to the website, how to stake an NFT on your website. This sounds really stupid, right? But it's not. And I think that's where we're at right now, where we're still needing to onboard people into what Web3 is. And we need a way that's approachable to do that. And I think hitting that TikTok is really important, because you're hitting not only the younger generation, but older too. I think a lot of games are missing out on that 21 to 25 range as well. Just because that's the generation. Those are the people that are going to be in Web3. That next generation is going to be that 21 to 25. So the fact that people are not targeting them right now and don't even think about them actually drives me insane. Why aren't you recruiting people that are under 25 for your project? Why aren't people trying to focus on that TikTok generation? Because when the next bull market comes in, that's where the money comes from. And especially all these kids that are 18, right? Who's paying their Fortnite V-Bucks bills? Their moms and stuff. So these kids are making money, they're getting money from their parents, and they're putting them in video games. So why aren't people targeting them? So I think there's a big marketing issue in Web3, but I think we're still early in that fact, and that there's really a handful of really good games in this space. And I'm listening to a bunch of you guys here, and I want to know if any of your games are playable, because I'm looking to play games and spread my wings in the gaming space. I've been playing a lot of Shrapnel, BR1, and a lot of FPS games. But if you guys have any games that are playable, then definitely let me know so I could try them out.
My game's playable, Randy. Didn't even come over here to get on the beta. I thought we were friends. I gave you a workout program.
I never got invited.
I helped you get ripped at Planet Fitness.
And it's we're getting after it, bro. We're getting after it. My sister and I thank you very much. And listen, I never got invited to the beta. I thought you would hit me up, be like, wag me, let's do stuff. I'm waiting on you, Scott.
I'll make sure you get on it this week for sure. But you hit a lot of nails in the head. Mindless. You had your hand up before me. Do you mind if I just say something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, brother. No problem.
So you nailed it, Randy. Right? Games need to be playable. I think I'm probably one of the few devs in the space that actually streams their own game, on a weekly basis, and I join our other creators. I went out and got us a partnership with Kick, so we have our own category there, and I worked with our creators to make sure that they're using a service like Restream, so they're streaming to Twitch, Kick, Twitter, and YouTube at the same time, TikTok as well, right? Because it's so important to say, hey, I'm building a game, it's fun. It's okay, well, where's the gameplay? And there's so many games in Web3 that talk about how fun and amazing their games are, and their main Twitter page doesn't even have any gameplay on it, and you just can't find it anywhere unless it was like a sponsored video. And so it was really important to me when we first got the beta out a couple months ago to make sure that there's always gameplay to find, and that's there. Now the next steps moving forward as we head into global launch is, making sure that we're also tapping into the lore. So we just brought on a few ambassadors. We're calling them IP ambassadors. Mizzy is one of them. For those of you who might know him, he heavily focuses on anime when it comes to games and things like that. And so now I'm having him and people like him talk about the characters, talk about their story, and show that there's a lot of depth to the game. It's not just, hey, I'm downloading this mobile game, I'm playing it, it's fun. It's like, no, I'm downloading this mobile game. These characters are sick. The team that I create and the strategy I use is based around my favorite characters, not just what the meta happens to be for that week. And these are the things that you think about if you grew up playing games. A lot of you in here grew up your entire lives playing games and have put countless hours into your favorite game types. So you should be using all that experience in your marketing and how you approach this space, because even these young kids, yeah, it's a different generation, but they're going to fall into a lot of those same habits.
Exactly, like digital ownership. I don't know why people don't think of like the younger generation, because I grew up getting iTunes gift cards, which are virtual money to go buy virtual games, buy virtual assets and virtual currencies. But the fact is we didn't own it. So everything that we bought went to zero. And if you buy an NFT, like a WAGMI NFT for a character, and I could rent that out, I could transfer to somebody else, I could send it to my sister, or I could list it on the market and then learn the economic side of things, which is a great educational thing where you look at what your NFT is, the traits, and how do I compare my NFT with things on the market. So there's just so many educational things that go on here. And, just being able to have people showcase the game, I think is very important to like get people to stream, get people to do interviews, AMAs, like get the team out there and, just be transparent with everything, which I've seen a lot of games in Web3 do, just build in the public, which I think is really unique about the space as well. Being able to be like, okay, this is what we're building, this is the step we're on, and you guys get to see that.
Sorry about that, guys. I'm just, appreciating the vibes and, trying to respond to different messages about the space. But I see we have Mindless, and I want to go to layer 1 after.
Yeah, thanks. Couple of points. I think there's a reason why the implementation of like blockchain tokens and NFTs specifically to the younger gaming audience hasn't happened yet. It's twofold. One, it's legal. Like there's a reason why you can't target the younger audience with speculative tokens and NFTs. It's a really, really big issue. So the likes of Roblox, Minecraft, Fortnite have often just shut that door completely because of the gambling-like behavior and probably illegal activity that incites. Fortnite is opening that door slowly, but it's going to take some time. Other gaming ecosystems have just shut that down completely. So there's a problem there where you can't target that audience with like NFTs and crypto yet. It's a good fit, but I think it's going to happen, just not yet. The other issue is, I think, just due to the overall immaturity of the ecosystem. So I don't believe within Web3 gaming we've seen like the incredible parabolic, degenerate, frenzy-fueled fervor that leads to unsustainability and complete blow up. We saw that with crypto in 2016, 17, 18, which led to the likes of Ethereum and multiple layer ones. But that saw a complete wipeout of everything beforehand, right? It's similar type of issue you see with stocks and the dot-com boom and Silicon Valley and industrialization and electricity and all the rest. It needs that one incredibly unsustainable, explosive growth period and a complete ruin, burn down of the industry, and out of the ashes grows that next iteration of things. We saw that with profile pictures, like the complete decimation in NFT profile picture sort of narratives. I think 12 months ago, had somebody said that most of these things are not going to be sustainable, you would have been laughed out of town. But looking back at it now, even some of the biggest NFT names are being questioned whether they have sustainability. So that kind of wipeout has happened in the NFT space. I don't think it's happened in the Web3 gaming space yet. I don't think we've seen the incredible drug-fueled speculative fervor in Web3 gaming. I think this cycle will be that. And there's great opportunity there. But I'm more interested to see what happens after this is all come and gone and the ashes get burned to the ground and like the base minerals and base elements and the carbons return back to the soil. I'm interested to see what stays around after this and what grows out of that sort of environment, because that's where you see like the rise of Facebooks and the Amazons and stuff. If I was to use a Silicon Valley example, I just don't think we've seen that yet. We're still a long, long way, obviously.
Yeah, and I get what you're saying about the regulatory, but I do know 18 is when you're able to like buy crypto and sign up for an exchange. So that's why like I wasn't really mentioning like teens like under 18. That's why I was more like 18 to 25. But yeah, I think the regulatory landscape is going to change as well, because, you know, if you're under 18, you could go on a custodial account under your parents and go on Robinhood, or the Fidelity, I think, has that too for minors. So I do think that's going to change in the future. I think there's going to be a point where, you know, kids like they could buy stocks through their parents under a custodial account. I think that'll happen with crypto. But again, we're still really early, which is why, like, you know, breaking in the ground floor and just getting after it is a good thing. But yeah.
100%. I wanted to basically cap it off with layer one, and then you know, just say our pleasantries and, you know, enjoy the space for what it was thus far. Honestly, it's been an amazing space. But layer one, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for having us. It's been a great space. I kind of wanted to jump on to what Randy and Mindless were talking about. Agree with Mindless, you know, about the legal stuff. No question there. But Randy, coming at it from a blockchain perspective, you know, I agree. We definitely need to get on the NFT ownership type of thing. However, there's one major problem, and that problem is like, even if a game was, we'll just take Fortnite for an example. If you were to merge that over to a Web3 component where you could buy your skin, it's still just isolated for Fortnite right now. There is no standardized kind of level of development for these NFTs that can be used in games to create a universal standardization so that other games can tap into. And what it requires is that a lot of games collaborate with one another so that they can bring in these NFTs. And I do feel like once that happens, either two things happen. One, all games start collaborating together to make their NFTs interoperable with every other game out there. Or two, we come together and we agree upon some sort of standardization for, you know, creating NFT games. Because the last thing you want to be playing is a medieval game and have somebody bringing in their Star Wars blaster or lightsaber into the game. You want it to be an authentic experience. And so I feel like those are kind of like some major hurdles that we need to overcome. And to Mindless' point, we are still at the beginning phases, but it's great. I've spoken with a lot of different games that are looking to come onto our blockchain, and it's all the same common thing. But it's great that projects are now thinking about this, and it's a great sign because it's a step in the right direction, in my opinion. So thanks again for having us. This has been a great space, and love everybody's comments.
I want to just say I agree with Later One very much. We need better interoperability. I mean, listen, you look at MetaMask and you could put every EVM compatible chain, but you can't put like Cardano or Litecoin or all these other coins on there. And Avalanche. So I think that's still a problem where we need, like, you know, a good wallet that has multiple chains and bridges that are safer. And I think we're so early that the fact that we're still talking about bridges and wallets is crazy. And I think that'll change a lot in the future. But really good points made. And thank you for having me up last minute. I really appreciate it. And there were so many people that I haven't met today. So thank you guys for chatting with me. And shout out to Scott too. Thank you.
No worries. What I was going to say was, did you say Avalanche?
Yeah, I was just saying, like, we need a wallet that has like multiple chains on it, like Avalanche or Cardano or Ethereum or Wax blockchain that just partnered with Amazon today. So I think there's a lot of good blockchains out there that just need one wallet, a central place.
I have a wallet for you, but it's like a wallet / bank account type of vibe.
DM it to me.
You ever? Sure. Or I'll just tell the whole space. It's called Juno Finance.
Juno?
You can also check out the Layer 1X wallet.
Layer 1X and Juno. Okay, I'm going to write those down.
100%. I gotta check out that Layer 1X wallet when I get a chance. That's super
Yep.
sick. But Mindless, go ahead. We'll finish off with you, Mindless.
Oh, appreciate it. Thanks. It's been a great space. I hate to be the last speaker here. I kind of wanted to get back quickly to what Layer 1 said. You've inadvertently given a plug to the problem that we're exactly trying to solve with like NFTs, interoperability within gaming environments, being able to use that asset across multiple games, some sort of standardized mechanism for all of this. I mean, there's several problems with this industry, big ones, that being one of them. But I think the more we sort of come together as an industry to solve some of these huge underlying problems, we can all move together. I think just to finish off, there's still very much of a PvP vibe with ecosystems, foundations, and communities in the space, when in fact we should be thinking about growing the entire pie overall. It's such an early industry. It's a shame to try and compete against each other just at this point.
100%. And what I want to finish this space off with was obviously appreciate everyone for coming to the space, because obviously, time is very valuable. So, no one had to come today, but you all came and showed up, and I really do appreciate that. And I'm sure everyone else does as well. And another thing I want to say was, everyone look to your left, look to your right, follow the person next to you, the account next to you. Let's connect, let's really grow and build this space to something that we can actually be proud of. And the best way to do it is to collaborate. So appreciate it, everyone, for coming to the space again. And just like that, you're out.